Hello, folks. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betcraft. Okay, today is another very beautiful Saturday morning, and we know so many games that we have going on across the globe. A whole lot of matches going on today, and we're able to select a few of them now. And as usual, and looked into it before bringing it forward for you. And also, yesterday we had quite a very, successful outing because we saw 4 games out of the 5 games that we had. You know, actually quite on point. Aside that Austria match where they played out, lesser number of goals that we expected. But move on to today's predictions, and hopefully today we achieve a very 100%. Okay, and in short, we'll be looking at this matches one after the other, and I would like to ask you the first coming across our video for the first time that are yet to subscribe. To kindly take our time to hit the subscription button down there so that you don't miss out on our subsequent games that will always come up. Also, remember to turn on the notification so that you always be notified. Each time we dish out this video. All right. That being said, without further ado, let's head to the business of today, and we'll be starting with the very first match for today. It is in the Dutch league where we'll have Warwick will be up against the FC Twente. All right, Warwick in the last 6 recent matches that they had, they've lost the entire thing. All right, they've not been able to win any match. Neither have they had any draw. They've lost the entire 6 games that they've played so far in the last recent games. And looking at Twente, their way side have won 3 games. Have had 2 draws, but have lost one out of the last 6 matches that they had. All right, when you look at how these two teams fared, from home and away perspective, you could see that Warwick, the home side, have had 6 losses in the last 10 home games that they had, and the other 4 being draws. All right, they've not won a single match in the last 10 home games that they had. That tells you how poor this team have been in recent times. All right, and looking at 20, their way side, Twente have managed to achieve 3 victories from the past 10 away games that they had. They've also had 3 draws as well, and have lost 4 games in the last 10 away games that they had. And those losses were in the matches against the Salzburg, AZ. We saw them losing out to Utrecht, and the last loss what they had was the last away win that they had, which was against Feyenoord. They lost by 2 goals to 1 on that occasion. But we know that Twente, is much more better side. When they're playing from home, they have actually won reasonable amount of matches playing from home. They have won 5 games from home, but they've not lost any single match playing from home. Twente is a very good side, and looking at how these two teams fared, in the last head-to-head meeting, we could say that Twente was able to defeat Warwick by 3 goals to 0 on that occasion. That was in February this year. That was last time they met. And we'll put all that together, knowing the fact that the home side have actually lost the entire games that they had, the entire 6 games that they had, in recent times from home. We will expect that away side FC Twente to rise to the occasion in this very one and achieve a result against this very side. And it is away side to win out shortly. That's on value for that very game, okay? And that takes us to the next. Also in Dutch League, where we'll have Go Ahead Eagles who will be up against Feyenoord. All right, and the Go Ahead Eagles are the home side. We've seen that they've been able to win 4 games in the last 6 years. They've also had 1 loss as well as 1 draw in a way side. On the other hand, Feyenoord have had 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss in the last 6 matches. And when you look at how these two teams are performed from home and away perspective, you can see that the home side Go Ahead Eagles have had 4 victories in the last 10 home games. They've also lost 4 games, but have had 2 draws as well. And the away side, Feyenoord, playing from away, okay, have actually managed to achieve 5 victories in the last 10 away games that they had. They've also had 4 draws and also one loss against Benfica in that very away last 10 away games that they had also. So when you look at the recent games, how they fared, when you look closely, you could see that for the home side, the last home game that they had saw them playing out a 4-1 victory against Melo, and also Feyenoord had a 3-2 victory against Girona in the last away game that they had. And when you look closely, you could see that most of the home games for the home side, I think 6 games out of the past 10 home games that they had, will do so over 2.5. And Feyenoord, on the other hand, the away side, have actually seen over 2.5, on 8 occasions out of the past 10 away games that they had. All right, looking at the performance, how they performed when they met each other in the last, head-to-head meetings, you can see that it was in April this year. We saw Feyenoord from away defeating this side by 3 goals to 1, and prior to that in September last year, Feyenoord was also able to beat Go Ahead Eagles by 3 goals to 1. All right, followed by series of victory for Feyenoord in the last 10 head-to-head meetings. It has always been Feyenoord who have had the upper hand and have won on 8 occasions out of the past 10 meetings for both sides. And Go Ahead Eagles have won 2 times. That was far back 2015 and 2016. But in recent times, it has always been Feyenoord who have actually achieved a victory against this very side. And in this very one, we definitely expect the away side you know, rising to the occasion once again. And in this very game, actually, verdict is actually an over 2.5. We expect to see a minimum of 3 goals appearing in this very encounter. So over 2.5, that's a very, very game. All right, that takes us to the next. It is in Turkish League where we have Antalyaspor will be up against Galatasaray. All right, Antalyaspor in the last recent 6 games have managed only 2 wins, but have also had 1 draw, but have lost 3 games in the last 6 matches that they have so far. And we saw the Galatasaray have had 4 wins and also 2 draws. None of them have not lost a single match in the last 6 matches that they had so far. And when you look at how these two teams have fared from home and away perspective, you can see that playing from home, Antalyaspor have managed 4 wins, 1 draw, as well as 5 losses in the last 10 home games that they had. And we side on the other hand, and Galatasaray have actually won 7 games out of the last 10 away games, losing 2 and also having 1 draw in the last 10 away games that they have so far. That's also a lot about the side. Galatasaray is a side that does so well at the moment, and the last time both teams met, we saw Galatasaray beating this side from home by 2 goals to 1 on that occasion, and prior to that was also Galatasaray beating them from away by 2 goals to 0. That was October last year, and looking at the entire head-to-head listing, we could see that in the past 10 head-to-head meetings for both sides, it has always been Galatasaray who has had the upper hand, winning on 7 occasions, and the other 3 being a draw. There's never been a time Antalyaspor achieved a victory against this very side. That tells you a lot about this meeting, and we do expect Galatasaray, their way side, with the quality that they're packing, to achieve a result again away from away, and it is our side to win outright in this very game. Away win, that's all respect. Okay, that takes us to the next for today. Today, the next game is actually in Russia. We will have Kimki who will be up against Lokomotiv Moscow. All right, Kimki have actually managed 3 draws in the last 6 matches. They've also had 3 losses as well. They've not won any match in the last 6 games that they had. And away side Lokomotiv Moscow, the last 6 games have won the entire 6 games that have played so far. That tells you a lot about this very side. And looking at how these two teams fared from home and away perspective, play from home, Kimki have managed just 2 wins. They've had 3 losses and also 5 draws in the last 10 home games that they had. And looking at the away side also, Lokomotiv Moscow, they have won 9 games out of the past 10 away games that they have so far. That tells you a lot. Lokomotiv Moscow is a very strong side. They've been winning their matches, and the last 10 away games that they had, sort of winning 9 out of 8, losing just 1 to Dynamo Moscow on that occasion. And that tells you that this team is a very good side, and they do so well, even from away. And looking at the head-to-head performances for both sides, the last time they met, we saw Lokomotiv Moscow. It was in a cup match playing for home against Kimki. They were able to defeat Kimki by 5 goals to 1. All right, prior to that, we saw them beating Kimki by 4 goals to 0. That was last year. And in this very encounter, in these head-to-head meetings, actually, it has always been Lokomotiv Moscow who have also dominated this very fixtures. And they have won on 8 occasions out of the past 10 meetings for both sides, and have had 1 draw. And Kimki have just managed to win on just once. That was in 2020 against this very side. And seeing that Lokomotiv Moscow have shown total dominance against this very side, we definitely expect to see Lokomotiv Moscow, their away side, achieving the result of winning this match outrightly. All right, we win. That's all right for that very encounter. All right, that takes us to the next game for today, and it is in the Spanish La Liga, where we have a Celta Vigo who will be up against Real Madrid. Looking at Celta Vigo in recent games, have won 2 games out of those recent matches that they had. They've also had 3 losses as well as one draw in the last 6 matches. Okay, and also Real Madrid and their away side have actually managed to achieve 4 victories from away for the last 6 games. They've also had 1 draw as well as 1 loss in the last 6 matches that they had so far. And looking at how the two teams fared from home and away perspective, Celta Vigo surprisingly have done very well playing from home. They've actually won 7 games out of the last 10 home games that they had, also, and friendlies included, and also therefore lost just a single game, but they've had 2 draws as well. And we look at Real Madrid on the other hand, they're having very unlikely runs in that in the last 10 away games that they had so far. They've had 3 wins and they've also had 2 losses as well as 5 draws in the last 10 away games that they had so far. They're looking to do very well in this one, seeing that the last away game that they had was against Lille and they lost that game by 1-0 against the French side. And in this very one, when we look at how this season fared, in the last 30 meetings, we saw Real Madrid beating this very side by 4-0. We also, looking at the entire head-to-head meetings for both sides, you see that Real Madrid have actually won the entire thing, winning 9 times out of 10 in the last head-to-head meetings for both sides, and the other one being a draw. There's never been a time Celta Vigo achieved a result, against this Madrid side. All right, and in this very encounter, when we put all these records together, we do expect to see a win for the away side, the Madrid side, achieving a victory against the Celta Vigo side. And we win. That's on value for that very game. All right, that brings up just for you today and BetCraft to a conclusion. All right, I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope the ticket goes green. Also, remember to play responsibly. These are football games. Sometimes, things do change. All right, that being said, tomorrow is another day, and we'll be coming up with in this channel with our predictions. But do not miss out, and until then, keep winning.